Good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday to you guys. How's everybody doing today? I think we are live. I think we're doing well with the video stream, hopefully, and you guys can hear me okay. Hopefully, hopefully the guitar's not too loud either. How's everyone doing today? Happy Sunday, um, guys. We're already up to show 78. Amazing. I'm super happy. Again, looking forward to these Sunday shows with all of you guys. This is like amazing to be able to spend some time with you guys. Hopefully, everyone's doing well and everybody's doing okay physically, okay with the COVID situation and everything else, and everybody's enjoying their gear and their guitars and their amps and everything else. I want to say welcome to all the newcomers. If there's anyone that is new in the house, either now or when we were playing the stream, just I want to say hello to everybody. Feel free to introduce yourself. And of course, if you guys are not familiar with the show, this show is all about gear and gear addiction. Consider it your weekly support group for gear addiction. That's about as simple as I can put it. We basically get together once a week here on Sunday mornings to discuss gear, discuss what we've purchased, what we're thinking about purchasing, what we've sold, etc., etc. And of course, there's always a little disclaimer that I like to put in there. We are not responsible for any additional gear that you purchase or any arguments that happen because of it. Because of watching this show. That is our little warning and disclaimer that I'm going to start putting on the Sunday shows, just so that we are not responsible for any breakups. I hope you guys are all doing well. And of course, at the top of the show, I always usually ask people whether or not they've purchased anything new this week, sold anything, maybe are gassing for something specific. This is a perfect opportunity to ask our opinion as a group as to gear that you're checking out, maybe something you're considering, or just advice as to whether or not you should sell something, keep something, as I did this week. For those that are not familiar with the last video, check it out. It's a video that I actually posted because I was asking for everyone's opinion. I basically needed some advice. I posted a video this week where I was comparing the Fender Supersonic combo with the Deluxe Reverb. And the reason I did that was because I was actually honestly considering trading the Supersonic for the Deluxe Reverb. And I wasn't sure whether or not I should do that because I honestly like the Supersonic very much. But at the same time, I was considering getting a Deluxe Reverb because the Deluxe Reverb sounds pretty darn good to me. It's been recorded on a bajillion records throughout the years. It's almost all the artists eventually, or at one time or another, used it for something. And it has a great sound. And I figured, maybe the Supersonic wasn't cutting it sound-wise compared to the Deluxe Reverb. So I actually took the opportunity to get both of them. They're actually still here. You can see them. There's the Supersonic. There's the Deluxe Reverb right there. And I recorded some side-by-side clips playing the same thing into either one, and clean and dirty. I used a Telecaster for that. And I just wanted your opinion as to which one sounded better. Now, of course, the issue with any kind of comparison like that is that really you're just taking a snapshot of one setting and you're not getting the whole picture, because both the Supersonic and the Deluxe Reverb are capable of quite a variety of different sounds. More so the Supersonic, I would say, because it's a lot more flexible. So I basically put the stuff, the settings in the middle. Everything was kind of midway to kind of give you the, let's say, the plain Jane vanilla sounds on both of those amps. So it really doesn't do it justice in terms of giving you the full representation of all the stuff that you can get, all the sounds that you can get out of those amps. Um, but the thing is, at the end of the day, I decided to keep the supersonic. So you guys sort of convinced me. I know there was a couple of you that said the deluxe reverb sounded better, and I actually agree with you guys. I think recorded the deluxe reverb sounded better, warmer than the supersonic. But at the same time, the the supersonic is way more flexible. Just the two channel thing, the clean channel, the burn channel. There's a deep switch in there, so you can actually get it to sound fatter. This even just the pedal, the switch between all the options. The deluxe reverb only has vibrato and reverb, while the supersonic has the modern switch, vintage switch. It has the reverb switch. It has the effects loop switch, and also the supersonic has an effects loop where the deluxe reverb doesn't. So all that to say, I think I made the right decision. And honestly, I think with a speaker swap, the supersonic could sound very, very close to what you're hearing with the deluxe reverb, and could also bypass it in terms of dirty tones. So honestly, I think it's a great option. If anybody's considering getting a good amp, the supersonics are great in my opinion. Um, they're basically the it's one of the amps that I found that basically gives me everything that I need. Even the Mesa Boogies that I've tried, I had a Lone Star at one point. I had the Triple Crown at one point. And those are great amps, but there's always something about them in terms of the sounds that I wasn't liking. And the Fender sounds can't be beat. If you want a big, clean foundation for pedals, they're great. They really are. And even though a lot of people say, oh, the drive channels are not that great, I don't really use the drive channel all that much. I try and stick to the clean and then use pedals with it. It's just there's a lot of variations. So yeah, Mark, I agree with you, man. Um, if you want a big clean sound going through the front, you know, the Lux will do it. But if you want to, use modulation effects, you want to keep the effects clean and pristine. The effects loop is great, and in a live situation, you have more flexibility at your disposal, even at your feet with the pedal, the switches. Yeah. So Mark, you used to have a Lone Star too? Only liked the big clean, didn't like the gain in it, and was loud and heavy. Yeah, that's one of the things about the Mesa amps. They're built like tanks, but they also weigh just about as much as a tank. That was one of the things that, in terms of portability, wow, you really need a good back if you want to bring that with you. And I agree with you. I think they had great cleans, but yeah, the Mesas are very finicky. Like a little quarter turn on any of the knobs make a huge difference. Um, and that is one of the reasons why I ended up getting rid of it. So Vox, you're absolutely right. I say that all the time. You can always add dirt, but you can't add clean. So if you start off with a nice clean foundation for your sound, you could basically sculpt it any way you want. And because the Fender amps don't have a mid knob, you would think that would be a little bit of something lacking, but you could easily put in an EQ pedal in your chain and sculpt it the way you want. So anyways, I think I made the right decision, guys. And one of the things that I like to give you guys as advice whenever you're looking at gear, if you're not sure and you really can't make a decision and it really is that close, don't do anything, because that's a sure way of getting some kind of remorse. You know, if you're not sure and you're not convinced, just don't do anything. Sometimes we're tempted just to be able to change stuff, just to have some new toy to play with. And I have to admit, I came close to doing it too. But at the end of the day, I'm glad I did the comparison, because I realized that they are extremely close. And the Fender special design speaker that's in the amp, I'm not really sure what it's supposed to emulate, if it's supposed to be their version of a Jensen or whatever. I have to do some research on that. But I'm positive that if I do a speaker swap on the Supersonic and put in something different, it's probably going to sound amazing. And I got to also check the bias on it, because Fender usually biases their amps a little bit on the cold side, which tend to make them sound a little sterile. I never actually checked the bias on this amp, but I'm sure if I get it to the hot spot, it'll sound even better. So something to do, something to work towards. So that's enough blah blah on my side, guys. I don't want to fall behind on the chats. Fat Philosopher is in the house. He says, my rehearsal hall has a Roland Marshall and a Vox amp already there, so I only bring my guitar and my effects board. Yeah, that's kind of the same kind of deal I have with my rehearsal space. Unfortunately, they're going through some solid state power amp, which I don't like. They sound okay. It's not that they sound bad. It's just that I prefer tubes. So I usually bring my own head. Rock and Roll Music Man says, sorry, the chats are going by pretty fast here. Excellent choice on the Supersonic. My go-to live amp because of versatility. Now the Deluxe is a good amp as well, just not as flexible in the end. Yeah, I mean, that's my thinking too. I mean, the Deluxe is the previous generation. To me, the Supersonic is meant to be a more modern version of that, with more modern options, you know. But some people do like the classic tones. I don't blame them. It's a great sounding amp. So good morning, Charles. Good morning, Quicksilver. Good morning, Paul. Uh, I'm trying to keep up with the chats today, because usually I start from the first one and I work my way down, and I always fall behind. And I know that you guys, you know, you kind of like keep the chat going forward. So today I'm actually just staying put at the bottom. So if you've mentioned something at the beginning and I missed it, please just take a moment and repost it, or just copy and paste it at the bottom. And we'll get to all of the the most common, the most up-to-date questions and stuff, so I don't fall behind. All right, guys. So again, I asked at the top of the video, any of you guys got any new gear? Any of you guys sold off some gear? Anybody liquidating some stuff? If you guys have stuff to sell, mention it in the chat, because who knows, maybe somebody here might be interested and could hook up and you can work out some kind of a deal. I'm always looking for stuff, so me too. I'd be included in that as well. So Fat says, the idiot I bought my Gibson from had the guitar returned to him because he tried to lie about the weight to UPS. Oh man, I hate when the logistics get in the way of gear, and it just makes the process even slower. And at the end of the day, the last thing you want is gear to be stuck in shipping mode, because that's where stuff gets damaged. And if it's going back and forth and getting returned, the chances of it getting damaged are even higher. So are you going to cancel the deal, Fat Philosopher, or are you going to just go ahead and have them reship it again? What's the verdict on that deal? Crazy stuff. Gospel of Mark is selling a Fender jazz bass and some pedals. That's pretty cool. Why do you want to sell the jazz bass? It's always great to have a bass in the house, in case you ever, a bass player shows up, or if you want to lay down some tracks on your own. It's always nice to have a bass. And the jazz is really nice. Cool, definitely a cool guitar, cool bass to have. A lot of people like that. And what pedals are you getting rid of, Mark? Just so I know. I know you have a nice selection of pedals for live gigs and all that kind of stuff, so I'm just curious what you're liquidating. Returning My Gibson had an offer on the AOI Wolf. So I thought you liked the AOI guitar, Fat Philosopher. You considering flipping it for something else? Seth says, finally, go 3 builds up for sale. I think you meant got 3 builds up for sale. On Reverb, custom Fender Strat, Memphis 80 Strat, and a custom hardtail partcaster. So Seth, share your Reverb name so people can find you in case they're interested in checking it out. You know, Fat Philosopher, that's my gut feeling too. Go with your gut, man. If there's hanky panky going on already, you're better off canceling it and not risking losing out on the deal. And who knows what else he's lying about? You know, you might get it and there's issues, or you know, at the end of the day, if it's damaged and you receive it, then it's a hassle because he's not gonna want to, you know, stick to his end of the deal or take it back. That's the issue with dealing with any kind of guitar purchase or sale when you're not face to face. I try to limit my dealings with face to face people as much as possible, unless it's really an extreme case where I can't find it anywhere else and I really need it. That's probably one of the reasons why I don't deal much on Reverb. Yeah, I think you mentioned it last time, Fat Philosopher, that the AOI looks good. AIO, sorry, but the Tokai plays better. Yeah, man, if it feels better to you, then go with that one. It's a, you know, feel is the most important thing when it comes to guitars. So Mark is selling, if anyone's interested, Mark is selling a Man Old Boss Super Chorus, a Way Huge Super Lead, and a Way Huge Swollen Pickle. So you're a Way Huge fan, I take it. I hate when the noise gate kicks in. I should actually remove the noise gate from this thing. Let me see if I can actually just turn that off here. It might get a little noisy, but at least it doesn't sound weird. Where is that? Do I even have the noise gate on? I think so. EQ, yeah, there we go. Turn that off. There we go. Nice and noisy, just the way I like it. There, now at least it doesn't die out prematurely when I'm playing, like, see? Dies out more naturally. I have the volume way down on the guitar. Okay, bought another amp. I'm up to 28 of them now. Rock and roll music, you are definitely addicted. All right, I gotta hear about this collection a little more, because anyone that has 28 amps is either single or has or has a good reason to keep them coming in. Are you a professional musician? Where do you keep all of these amps? And I like to know, give me a rundown of what your top 3 amps are. And if, yeah, I'm curious to know what your top 3 are, please. If you don't mind, Rock and Roll Music Man. Jeff says he got himself a new Lefty Jazzmaster Pro 2 this week. Congratulations. Had some real issues. Oh boy. Okay, control knob screw holes all chewed up. Fretboard bone dry. Sent it back. Reordered a Miami blue with maple and arrives tomorrow. Where did you order that from, man? I'm just wondering. And why would the control knobs be chewed up? That's weird. Like, that's strange. But yeah, you did the right thing, man. If you sent it back, it's all good. Hopefully the next one you get will be spot on. So Seth's account on Reverb. I'm Seth Presley, setups and guitar in Novato, California. and you guys can check out the build quality. I know Seth is actively building guitars and knows what he's doing. And yeah, if you guys are interested in picking up one of his guitars, he's always here. He's here on Sundays religiously. So any questions you have for him, I'm sure Seth will be happy to answer them. I asked this idiot to include the certificate of authenticity, but he said he didn't know what that was. I just hope my refund goes through. He said he spent the money on medical bills. Weird. Weird. Yeah, I don't know, man. Ah, I'm rough. I don't play this Telecaster nearly enough, and it's like I forgot how this one has a beefier neck, but I like it. So yeah, I'm still wondering what those top 3 amps are. Let me just scroll down here. Rock and roll music says I got problems, but tone ain't one. You got problems. Well, the first step in the process of the 12-step program is to admit you have a problem. So you're already at step 1. So now we want to know what your top 3 amps are in your collection. I'm really curious to see what they are. I guess you have to kind of learn to let go, you know? Fat Philosopher says Reverb is helping me out. He says he sold it again on eBay and can refund me soon. I don't know, man. Fat, hopefully it pans out, but it doesn't. It seems to be looking bad so far. Yeah, just press Reverb to help you out on that refund. I would try and get that as soon as I can. Randy wants to know if anyone is familiar with the Hale microphones. Just purchased a Hale Heritage Classic Vocal Mic, approximately $100. Looks like Elvis. Thoughts? I've heard about them. They are familiar to me. I know the brand. I haven't tried that particular one, but they're supposed to be pretty decent for the money. I don't know. Did I know somebody who purchased one of those? I know there's a particular one that gets really good reviews, but I haven't owned one of those. I don't really buy that many mics right now. I only have like 2 or 3, and they're mostly mics that I use for cabinets, not much for voice. So I can't really help you with that, man. So what is the best starter guitar? I bought a Fender American Telecaster and Strat off Reverb and a Made in Mexico Fender from Guitar Center, but my apartment got robbed and now I have to start over. Oh man. Well, that's rough. Dude. Anybody that would steal someone else's guitars, man, should be shot. Well, what are good starter guitars? I think those that you mentioned right there are great guitars. Any Made in Mexico Fender Telecaster, Stratocaster usually is a good bet. They're usually solidly built with a couple of little modifications. They can go far. You don't have to spend that much money on them. So yeah, I think you were headed in the right direction there. I would probably just grab another one of those. Hey Cranar, good morning. So James is going to order some Doyle Coil PAF clone pickups. And what guitar are those going into, James? What are the price on those? Just wondering. I don't know. I'm not up to speed on the price on those pickups. Let's see. I'm falling behind on the messages again. Sorry, guys. Gonna scroll back down. Jack Collins is here. Hey, Jack. Nice to see you, buddy. So rock and roll music says my living room and spare room is a music store that has nothing for sale. So rock and roll music, you didn't answer my question yet, or maybe I missed it. Sorry if I did. But what are your top three? Do you actually have, or can you pick out a top three selection out of those amps that you own? I'm really curious. So Mark is suggesting to check out the Sire guitars as a starter. Is that how you pronounce it? Sire is great, or Squire Classic Vibe. Yeah, those are good too. Made in Mexico Fender PRS SE is super great. Yeah, all of those are great options. I agree. If the PRSs can go wrong with one of those as well, although they're a little bit more expensive, or typically a little bit more expensive. But you can grab them used. That's what I would recommend. Any of those guitars, I would grab them used. All right, so here we got a top three, guys. Okay, so rock and roll music man's top three are for this week. Home recording, a 1961 Dan Electro Centurion 273. Very interesting. That's your number one. Cool. 65 Silvertone 1482 and a Vox AC4 HW. So I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna admit I have no clue what the Dan Electro Centurion sounds like. I'm curious to know why that's your number one. What kind of music do you play? And is it just because it's more collectible? Like, is this what you're basing your top three on? Is it worth collective, rarity, or is it really sound, and are you actually using these things to gig with them? All right, Lempu is here as well. What's up, man? Hope your Van Halen guitar is going well. I had a black Strat, so I just put the yellow tape on it to make it look like a Frankenstrat. That's cool. Yeah, you get the Eddie Van Halen mojo. So I think you're referring to my Kramer that I was building. Yeah, it's going great. It's actually over there. It's all finished. I just have to do some one other mod on it, and it's just one of those things that I should have realized before finalizing it, but I didn't. I took it for granted that the guitar kit that I purchased was built properly, and that the holes for the Floyd were in the right place. But as it turns out, after trying to intonate the guitar, I realized that the holes are too close to the pickup, probably by about well, a little bit less than a quarter inch, maybe, I don't know, an eighth of an inch, maybe a little bit more. And it's a real pain because I'm a stickler for intonation, and it doesn't intonate properly in some of the on some of the strings. Some of the other ones are okay, but on the fatter, like the E string, it's too far close to the actual to the pickup. So now I'm gonna have to take it apart. I'm gonna have to drill a new hole. I'm gonna have to fill the hole that's there, patch it up so you don't see the repair, and move the bridge over. And again, a real pain in the behind, but I'm gonna do it because I want it to play right. And I put in an authentic German Schaller Floyd Rose on the thing, and it sounds great. It really does. Plays great too. I might actually even adjust the little neck angle slightly with a small shim to make it even play even nicer. And once it's set up and ready to go, it should be working like a charm. So that's a project to come. I'll probably take you guys along for the ride and show you how that's done. Make a my messy workbench video out of it for you guys. So rock and roll music says he plays classic rock style music. I gig those amps some, but play them constantly at home. They just get this nasty crunch that I love and clean up well with the guitar volume. So I take it you're like a guitar amp, like a guitar lead amp guy with no pedals in between. You like the sound of the amplifiers raw. I know a lot of people that are amp collectors tend to like that. Get the raw sound right from the amp, which I'm sure will sound fantastic. Well, that's good, man. Congratulations. I mean, anybody that owns that many amps, you got a special place in my heart. That's for sure. So now, I wanted to also discuss something with you guys. Sorry, I'm just looking at, I'm reading the comments as I go. Uh, James says, going in my Gibson custom shop, standard Les Paul, they're 500. I hate to say. Sorry, James. I think I missed. I'm trying to keep up with the chat here. Yeah, so you guys are looking at, so Alan's looking at Seth's listings. Okay, so you guys work it out between yourselves. I'm sure you'll be able to find some way of working out a deal if anybody's interested. Quicksilver says, I think I got almost €100 off my LTD EC1000T, lefty also, just by asking if they would give me a deal as a good long-standing customer. There you go. Hey, it never hurts to ask. And most of the time you get some kind of a discount, even if it's just a minor discount. You know, it goes towards some extra strings or another pedal or whatever you guys are, saving up for. So I wanted to also say, for on my end, I didn't really buy anything new. Again, I came close to getting a new deluxe reverb this week, but I'm glad to say that I resisted, and I think I made the right decision. I'm building, as you guys probably have seen on my video, I'm building a butterscotch Telecaster, and I already painted the body. That was a raw body that I painted myself, and I put in all of the controls. I shielded it. I put in the bridge. I put in the pickups, and lo and behold, finally this week the neck arrived. I was waiting for the neck to arrive. I bought it on eBay. Finally came in. And I tried to fit it in the body, dry fitting, to see if it fits. Of course, the neck pocket was just like a hair too tight, and sometimes that happens on a raw body because it's not 100% accurate, or sometimes the spraying, adds a little bit more thickness on the edges, and I had to just ever so slightly sand the edges of the pockets to make it fit, but it fits. And I did a very rough, very quick check on the frets to see if they were level. Of course, there were a few that were not. So it's going to require a fret leveling. So I'm going to be doing that maybe later today or tonight. Again, I might throw that on the bench and show you guys how I do that as well. But I'm looking forward to getting that neck in and hearing at least, very roughly what the guitar sounds like even before I tweak it and set it up. So I'm really looking forward to getting that build finished. And when I do have that finished, I'll definitely show you guys what it looks like, how it came out. But the neck feels really nice. It's a maple neck. It's got a vintage finish on it. It's a little bit on the glossy side, which I can fix later on with some sandpaper or something like that. But I mean, it still has a nice radius to it and feels really nice. So I'm looking forward to getting that one done and built. James is asking, Tony, you asked what the Doyle coil pickups were going in and how much? Going in a Gibson custom shop standard, and they cost 500. Okay, so that's what you meant. Sorry, James, I saw you mentioned that, but I wasn't following. Yeah, $500. Yeah, pretty expensive, man. Wow, expensive pickups. I'm sure. Hopefully they'll do it for you, and they will they will sound great. Because $500. Yeah, it's a little on the steep side. I mean, you're going for tone. I understand if that's the tone you want, it's well worth it. If you can't get that tone anywhere else, then 500 bucks is well worth it. I mean, it's an investment in your guitar, right? But I just feel like, wow, 500 bucks. I mean, the actual material that goes into building pickups, if it costs the builder, I don't know, 15 bucks in material, not even. Um, Obviously, there's time involved, but you're paying mostly for the R&D, right? You're paying mostly for the time it takes to figure out how to make that sound in that pickup, which could be, hundreds of hours, probably even more, depending on it, depending on how they came about. But yeah, I mean, hey, if it works, then go for it, man. If it makes you enjoy your guitar and play it more, and then it's a great investment. Paul says pedal sales on Reverb have been really good. I'm selling several a week. Just sold one 30 minutes ago. So Paul, what is your Reverb uh, store name? So we can share it here and the guys could check it out. You might sell a few more. I'm sure there's always guys that are looking for pedals and deals on pedals. Seth, man, I'm trying to build this guitar really quickly. I'd love to send you that neck and have it plecked, but then it's gonna add another like how long, probably another week or so to send it over, another week or so before you get to it, and maybe another week or so before I get it back. So I'm really like I'm trying to build this thing quick. Otherwise, I would take you up on your offer, man. It's just the waiting time. I'm really like a stickler. I hate waiting for stuff, I at least, yeah, it'll take me time to level the neck myself, but I mean, I enjoy doing it, and at the same time, it gives me something to keep the hands busy. I think at least I'm working towards it. I know, like within a few hours, I can have it done, and it's like that's the only reason, man. Or else I would have taken you up on your offer a long time ago. Bruce says, I spent the week working on getting a great Gary Moore tone, found it to be 90% in the fingers, 10% in the gear, was able to get it with a three pickup Telecaster with Duncan SL59s in the middle position. Didn't need a Les Paul. Yeah, man, those 59s, those Duncan 59s, a lot of people really like those pickups. They do wonders from what I hear because they're very, very sought after. I don't have any in any of my guitar builds, but if I ever end up finding a set or a couple that are not too expensive, I want to try them. I definitely want to give those things a shot. Speaking of pickups, have any of you ever tried any of the Golden Age pickups from Stu Mac? Um, I don't know if you guys know this. They have pickups for sale on Stu Mac, and the Golden Agers are supposed to be like a replica of the vintage PAF pickups. And some people think that they sound really good. They're not that expensive. They're about 79 bucks, 80 bucks sorry, each. So let's say 160 bucks for a set around there. A lot of people like them. I know they have some that are overwound, they're hotter. I think they're using Alnico 5s. And apparently they sound pretty good. I'm just wondering if any of you ever tried any of those. Just a random question. Do you know any idea how Eddie Van Halen installed the original pickup on his Strat without the pickguard? I'm thinking of removing my pickguard to make the black Strat like his. Um, so do you know how he installed it? I'm pretty sure it was drilled directly into the wood. If you're talking about the Frankenstrat, I know that he routed out the original body, which was a single coil route, 3 single coils. He routed out the last route for the single coil. He kind of messed it up. You can see that it's not routed very nicely, and yeah, he threw in I believe it was from a 335, if I'm not mistaken, a Gibson 335 pickup in there. He turned it sideways because the pickup obviously was not F spaced. It was made for a Gibson, which has different string spacings. So he kind of tilted it to make it match his strings, and he just drilled it directly into the body. That's pretty much it. The funny thing is, I'm actually thinking about building one myself. I'm actually thinking about building a Frankenstrat. So right now, I'm kind of on a EVH bender. I have the Kramer that I built. I built my stealth version, and I still want to build a Frankenstrat. And I actually sourced the kit that the neck and body kit that I'm gonna be using for that. I'll showcase that in a upcoming video, and I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna build it. I'm gonna build the replica. I'm gonna try and make it look as close to the original as I can, which is really the hardest part. Never mind making it sound good. It's kind of like taking a pristine neck and body and kind of like messing it up to make it look like the Frankenstrat. But I'm sure I can do it. I just have to route the body out a little bit, and I'm gonna put it together, and it should be a lot of fun. The cool thing about this one is that because it was so beat up, I don't have to worry about the paint job being pristine. Actually, the rougher it looks, the more authentic it looks. But I'm gonna try and get it to look right with the stripes, and all the little nuances that he had on his. I'm gonna need a lot of reference pictures probably to get that right, but it should be a fun project. It should be fun. So what am I missing? So BC Rich says, I have a Golden Age humbucker in the neck of my GNL ASAT Blue Boy. It sounded really, really good at an excellent price. Well, that's fantastic. I'm glad to hear that, man. Yeah, a lot of people claim that they're decent pickups. I mean, and Vox says the Golden Age pickups were on sale a while back for around $30 a piece. I missed the sale. Oh, I didn't know that. Damn. That sucks. But you know what? I'm not in the States anyways. So, I'm gonna get dinged for shipping and duties and all that kind of stuff anyways. That's the main reason why I haven't actually picked up a set of Golden Age pickups yet, because I always get I'm gonna try and find a set or maybe one used somewhere and see how it works. Maybe I'll throw one of those in the Frankenstrat, since it's supposed to be a PAF style pickup anyways. Seth says we can do a custom build that's plecked and is amazing for $600 to $1,000 depending on the parts and the pickups. They all come with a new hard shell case. That's pretty decent, man. A nice guitar with a hard shell case and plecked. Pretty sweet. Interesting offer there. Yeah, thanks, Jack. Thank you for reminding people to give the thumbs up. I appreciate that. Paul says, I ordered a Fuzz IMP Top Jack Horseman. It looks very much like the original Klon. The guy cloned the circuit, but instead of the medium gain pre of the Klon, it has a medium gain fuzz. Oh, that's cool. Very nice. I have a Klon clone right here. Let me show it to you. This guy, there's nothing on it, so you wouldn't, beyond the shape of the box and the knobs. But this guy is, he was a seller on Reverb, 68 pedals, and he's the same guy who builds the King of Clone that I purchased, and he had the Klon, and it sounds pretty good. I have to say, it sounds decent. I'm not a huge Klon fan, but if you're looking for that sound, it's nice to have something available that's not going to break the bank. There's so many Klon copies out there. It's crazy. I think the Archer is probably my favorite so far. Like a mass-produced version. I think it's the Klon. The Archer. Bruce says, never tried Golden Age, but coming from StuMac, I would bet they are just someone else's pickups rebranded. I'm pretty sure that's the case, Bruce. I don't think they build them themselves. They're probably made overseas somewhere. But, if they sound good, who cares, right? Audio is gone? Michael is saying audio is gone. You sure about that, Michael? I think other people can. Can you guys hear me okay? Hmm, interesting. Can you guys hear me? Someone was saying that the audio was gone. Just let me know if you can hear me, because if the audio is gone, I'm going to fix it. Can you guys let me know if the audio is working? Thanks, Alan. One of the things I wanted to ask. Thanks, guys. Thanks you. Okay, so the audio is working okay. So maybe the other person was having issues with his own. One rumor that I read online is that Throwback Audio is a manufacturer of the Gold Age pickups, but I don't know that for a fact. Interesting. Trolling, huh? Okay, well, I'll take care of him if it happens again. Jeff said, ideally, I would like the local distributors to break out 5 lefties out of their boxes and then let me visually inspect them and pick the best looking one, but they probably just have the one. That's the thing about being a lefty, man. It sucks because, yeah, you're at a disadvantage in terms of just sheer volume. Too bad. I mean, it's not easy. Guys, I want to ask you a question. How many of you guys are like? What are you guys doing to? What are you guys doing to like make your playing better? Are you guys, most of you guys, taking courses? Are you guys doing like online videos? Do you guys put in a certain amount of practice time per week? What are you guys doing? I'm just wondering because like I was considering paying for some online courses just to have access to some material to inspire me to practice more, because the fact that I'm making videos a lot and I'm playing around with gear and building things, I usually spend my time building stuff and recording stuff, and I'm spending less time playing. And I think it's about time I should spend more time playing and just making my fingers sound better. That's basically it. Practicing more, putting in some more practice time. So I know there's a lot of like online courses that are offered by different companies. Jam Play is one of them, and Fender has one as well. I think that's the one, Fender Jam Play. Um, have any of you played or paid to actually take lessons? If you did, I'm just wondering, like, is any of those streaming places any good? Just wondering, because like I'm considering, I don't mind paying for any kind of courses just because I want to be able to, you know, excuse me, I gotta take care of this guy. 1 second. Let me just, hey Michael, I'm gonna have to get rid of you, buddy. So let me just, give me a second here. Bye, Michael. It's too bad I have to do this every once in a while, but yeah, I guess sometimes people have more time on their hands. So Bruce says nothing in online courses that you can't get for free on YouTube. True, I think you can find a lot on YouTube these days. Unfortunately, then you kind of spend more time searching, but I think YouTube is great because there's a lot of resources. But I'm talking a little bit more about like not just follow along videos like this is how you play this song, but more like theory, more in-depth exercises, sort of breaking down, composing and stuff like that, which I guess you could probably find on YouTube as well. But you don't want to spend that much time doing that. So I don't know if there's other ways to kind of maximize your time. Yeah, Mark, don't worry. I took care of Michael. I think he should be gone now. True Fire is one. There's also what's the other one called? Jam Track Central, I think it's called. Rock and roll music says I make a point to practice actual techniques 90% of my playtime and only noodle 10% of the time. It's easy to get lazy and just noodle all the time and not learn anything new. I agree, man. That's my biggest thing is like you end up playing the same licks over and over again, and you get into that thing where as soon as you pick up a guitar, you go for that same lick, and you're noodling the same stuff all the time instead of building up some new licks. I think one of the best ways of learning is trying to pick up as much new music as possible, just learning new licks, learning new leads. And then they actually kind of find themselves developing on their own within your playing vocabulary. Like if you learn a new AC/DC lick or a new Jimmy Page lick or Billy Gibbons lick and stuff, and then you learn that it usually sticks after a while, and then you find it popping up in your playing, your noodling and stuff, and sort of your noodling gets your noodling repertoire gets a little bit bigger. The let me just practicing with a looper is fantastic, especially playing over chords. And I think a lot of jam tracks that are available where you're playing, there's just a band playing without the guitar. Those are great because you can, pick the style, jazz, rock, blues, whatever it is. And then you're forced to kind of figure out how to improvise over those chords, which I think is a great, great skill to have, just so you could map out the fingerboard and know where you're playing in a certain song. Yeah, noodling's fun. I agree with you, fat philosopher. Noodling's a lot of fun, but if you're planning on getting better, I think noodling is a disadvantage. You got to break it down and just focus on something that you can't already play. I think if you make a point of focusing on something you can't already play for, even if it's just a small percentage of the time that you're spending playing, you're going to learn something new every day. It's like, learning a new word every day. At the end of the year, you got, 365 new words in your vocabulary. It's the same idea with the guitar. Learn a new lick or a new technique every day. At the end of the year, you're going to see a huge improvement. Ah, Larry, I know what you're saying, man. Larry's brought up a good point. He says, I wasted so much time tweaking the helix, but I'm an idiot. You know, That's one of the reasons I've said it many times. It's one of the reasons why I kind of avoid overly complex multi effects units because I know that it's a rabbit hole. And at the end, if you're a stickler and anal like me, and you really want to, you're really a stickler to get good tone, you spend up so much time trying to get that tone that you could have easily spent those many hours practicing, and you probably would have better tone anyways because of it. Playing with other people, that's a great tip, Mark. Yeah. Just playing with other people that are better than you. That's probably one of the best and quickest ways to get better. You're thrown in with the sharks, you know. You sink or swim. If you're in a band situation and the other guitarist has like mean chops, well, you got to up your game, you know, and it forces you to play better and to just learn through what you're experiencing there. Yeah, I should do that, Jeff. I should start a new channel called Distracted by Gear. That would be actually a good, a real honest to goodness channel description. Distracted by Gear, because that's what I am. If you think about it, always playing around with toys. You know, I like it. So instead of the guy, you know, my logo has the guy doing the rock and roll symbol going like this. We can have a guy that's just like, you know, smashing the guitar over his knee, you know, breaking the guitar in half. That could be the logo for Distracted by Gear. What do you guys think? Would that work? I've heard that many times, Paul. I've heard that. When you buy an Asian guitar that features Duncan pickups, 95% of the time it was made by Artec. Exactly the same, even the base plate is the same. So you're thinking, so even Duncan doesn't make their own cheaper pickups? Interesting. I have heard that before. You know, Krinar, the thing that I find is fantastic to develop is just phrasing. Like I find I play myself, I play very aggressively. I play like pretty like I pick pretty hard and I play, you know, when I pick my picking hand, I pick hard. So phrasing is like really important to maybe to basically break it up. Like the guys that I really like to watch play, that I find are amazing players, they vary their picking almost like every note that they're playing. One of them is louder, one of them is more aggressive, one of them softer. It just makes the music so much more interesting and dynamic to listen to. And that's a skill I don't have right now. And I would love to be able to develop that, just to be able to change up the sound through the picking and the fingers. So yeah, I spend most of my years focused on songwriting, and now that I don't really play originals I anymore, I focus on theory and techniques. Yeah, man, theory is awesome. Theory is a great foundation. You know, any little, it's complicated though. I mean, I love theory, but at the same time, it's kind of a mind bender because there's so much to learn, and then it's all interrelated. So at a certain point, it seems overwhelming. But then as you get into it and you learn more, at a certain point, like the veils start to, you know, they start to open up and things become clearer for you. And then you start realizing how everything is kind of related. And there's the aha moment when you realize, oh man, everything in music kind of works together. You know, so if you figure something out, you can put it into play with another aspect of theory and then build upon that, and it basically grows exponentially, you know. So that's the beauty of music. You never really get to the end. It's almost like infinite learning. Like I don't think anybody can say I'm done, there's nothing else for me to learn. You know, there's always something else to learn. Yeah, I agree. Tim is awesome, Jeff. Tim Pierce, he's got a lot of experience. um, Great player. Rock and roll music says I've just recently mastered fingerstyle. Travis picking, hybrid picking. Took a few years of just playing my acoustic guitars with no pick. Yeah, but I mean, it opens up so many opportunities after you've developed it and put the time into it. So SRV, yeah, Bruce. I mean, I'm a big SRV fan. He was pretty aggressive too. But you know, if you listen to songs like Tin Pan Alley, um, A couple of the slower tunes that he had, where he was playing mainly clean. Yeah, I have to agree. He did have some dynamics, although most of his songs were like just straight ahead blistering rock, blistering blues. Music should tell a story. Yeah, I agree, John. Picking hard and soft is like the difference between a whisper and a shout. Exactly. Exactly. And that's something we forget, you know. I think also when you're stressed, when you're playing in front of someone, or you're feeling like you're put under the microscope, you tend to go back to what you know, and being relaxed when you're playing helps tremendously. I think it just we tend to stiffen up and get stressed, and then you go back to the hard picking, and I think the key is really being relaxed, at least in your picking hand. Hey, Michael, good morning. Thank you for joining us. That's one of the things, Mark, that I think a lot of people have mentioned is specifically for phrasing. You know how when you're playing a lick or whatever, you're just playing whatever, something like that. You're just noodling. A lot of One of the tips that I thought was great was that you break it up and actually focus on your breathing and make your licks feel like you're singing. So, in other words, as you're exhaling, you play your lick. When you start to inhale, you give it a little bit of a rest, break it up a little bit more. So it's almost like the natural flow of a singer, where a singer is not constantly singing all the time, like they break up the phrase because they have to naturally breathe. Well, if you think about that when you're playing, it adds a little bit more space within your phrases. It makes it sound a little bit more like a voice, more natural. I always thought that was a great tip. Just have to remember all that stuff when you're playing. Yeah, Lenny is another one, John. Really amazing dynamics on that one. Beautiful song. Beautiful. Ain't Gonna Give Up on Love. Yeah, beautiful as well. Yeah, Lenny was written after his wife, Leonora. And I think her nickname was Lenny. Yeah, I mean, one of the other things that I mean, the thing about music is just that not only is it a lifelong adventure, it's a lifelong passion. Like I've had the bug since I was a teenager, and I don't think it's ever gonna go away. You know, till the day I die, I'm probably gonna always have a love for music and guitars and gear and all that kind of stuff. But it's really like, to me, it's the closest thing. Music to me is the closest thing to like magic. It's almost having that power. Like being able to create magic, because you can create something out of nothing. You can create something with no words, yet you can relay a feeling to someone else. You can make a connection with someone else just by, how you're playing something, good or bad. You can make someone cry, you can make someone feel happy, you can change someone's mood. Uh, I mean, music is like, to me, magical. It's really something that, you can't explain. It's like, and at the same time, you can't see it, you can't touch it, you know, but it's there. It's like an amazing thing. And it's based on, very few notes. If you think about it, the scale is only made up of a few notes, yet there's endless possibilities. There's so many combinations that these notes can be put together in, with different timing and different feeling and different dynamics. I don't know how else to describe it than like magic. It's like, it's amazing. So that's, you know, to me, that's an amazing gift. If I could give somebody a gift, that they can take with them throughout their life, it would be music. It would be like, I'd love to be able to just, give my kids, for example, the passion and the love for music. It's just an amazing thing. And it's basically, you're spending a lot of time here within your own mind, developing music and playing it and stuff. And I could spend hours doing stuff, like all day long, doing stuff. And it never gets boring. It never gets like humdrum. It's always fun, and I always look forward to doing it. So it's like, and it doesn't cost a thing beyond gear. That's a whole different story. But I mean, in terms of, you have a guitar, you're ready to go. You're ready to create. You have a piano, you're ready to create. You know. Yeah, Larry, I agree, man. Anything that you can sing, any chorus that you can sing, anything that pops into your mind and stays there, anything you can whistle is a great tune. Something as simple as Roxanne. Everybody knows the Roxanne. Very simple. Two notes, Roxanne. But as soon as you whistle that those two notes, you know exactly what it is. If you're walking down the hall, you're in an elevator, and you whistle those two notes, people will know instantly that's you're whistling Roxanne. You know, it's amazing. Jeff says, when I had blood pressure issues, the doc gave me beta blockers. First day I took them when we had a gig. My solos were spot on that night. Not advocating drug use. Interesting, Jeff. Why would you think that is? Blood pressure medication. Beta blockers. I mean, I don't know why beta blockers would do that. What do you think high blood pressure had to do with your playing? I'm just wondering, because beta blockers, I know what beta blockers do, right? They block certain, um, they make your heart work differently, right? They kind of either slow down your heart or make it work less hard, or do things like that to it. So I don't know how that would affect it, but I mean, if you noticed it, maybe you were just more relaxed. Maybe knowing that you were taking beta blockers for some reason made you feel less stressed about your blood pressure and made you play better. Cool Tune says, "Wow, Tony, how coincidental. I posted that phrase on Facebook yesterday in our guitar group. How music is incredibly effective in so many ways." Yeah. I mean, I don't think I'm the first one to say that. I think everybody kind of knows how effective it could be. If you guys have ever, this is kind of we're going off in a tangent here. But if you ever have trouble sleeping, right, and you download, there's these great videos on YouTube that are basically music that is recorded in certain sound waves, sort of in certain frequencies, to stimulate the mind and to help you relax. They cause your brain to focus on certain things and to get into certain rhythms. Um, I think one is called, if I'm not mistaken, binaural beats. I think it was one of them. Anyways, there's a whole bunch. And if ever you have trouble relaxing and going to sleep, just put this on, listen to it when you're in bed. Within like not even 20 minutes, you're going to be out like a light. And for those of you who don't believe me that these things really work, just give it a shot. There's some that are not that good, but there's some that are really, really good. You can usually see the ones that are better on YouTube because they have like, 5 million listens, 20 million listens. And these they go on, they're very, very long. Like some of them are recorded like 3 hours, and it's not music, it's just sound waves, but it's the way they intertwine with each other as you're listening to it. It makes focusing on something other than the sounds very difficult to do. So if you're thinking about stuff, if stuff has you stressed, it actually clears your mind. It just because you're focusing on the sounds, and because they're so complex, you can't really focus on what's stressing you, and you fall asleep immediately. It's amazing. and it's really worth it. So I mean, this is the power of sound. It really is an amazing thing. Yeah, I believe beta blockers do also affect adrenaline. They calm the heart down. Like I know that when you're on beta blockers, if you're going up a hill, if you're doing something where you get your heart pumping, it has a harder time pumping. So you might feel like lightheaded. You might feel like your heart can't keep up with the effort because it kind of relaxes the heart and doesn't make it pump as much. Yeah, drinking will make you think that you're playing better until you listen back to the recording. Guys, if you ever, you guys are talking about blood pressure and struggling with blood pressure. Here's my tip for you guys, okay? If ever you guys you're struggling with blood pressure, this is my tip, and it works 100%. And I guarantee you can actually try this. If you don't believe me, put in a cuff, like a blood pressure cuff. Take your blood pressure, okay? Then sit there. There's apps that are geared to breathing, and they're breathing techniques where you inhale for a certain amount of seconds, and you exhale for a certain amount of seconds. So what you do is you inhale. Let's say you inhale, and it takes you 3 seconds to inhale. So you're inhaling 1, 2, 3. You hold it. You hold the inhale for like 6 seconds, and then you exhale the breath double that, like 12 seconds. And you do it again. And you do this for about a minute or two, and you take your blood pressure again. I'm telling you, it's 10 points less. It does wonders. A lot of the things that we're dealing with is breathing related, stress related. Just relaxing the body has a huge effect on blood pressure. I'm not saying don't take your blood pressure medications. I'm just saying there's other ways that you can actually get the same effect. All right, guys. So Paul says Art Tech have been around for decades, a state of the art facility. They do make crap if you order it. Good stuff in large volumes costs no more than 15 bucks a pickup, but you can get $5 pickups. Yeah, but how do you get the decent $15 pickups if you have to order in large quantities? That's the question. Leo says daily walking is also great for lowering blood pressure. Yeah, absolutely. Any kind of activity at a moderate pace where you're not like going full tilt is great. As a matter of fact, there's more and more evidence that shows that aggressive exercise actually causes inflammation in the body, which means that you're actually doing the body harm by overdoing it. And easygoing activity at a lesser pace is actually better for you, especially if you're suffering from things like arthritis or any kind of inflammation issues. I don't want this to turn into a medical show. Vox Guitar says, I tried the breathing technique thing, but it really messed up my harmonica play. And there's another point we failed to make. Humor is the best thing for relieving high blood pressure. Just laugh and have fun, and you'll see that it's definitely going to help that blood pressure stay down. That's funny, man. Seth says the Artec Alnico 5 Strat sets are also pretty impressive. I A-B'd them with Duncan Antiquity, almost indistinguishable. And where do you get these, Seth? I mean, where do you find them? Do you buy these on eBay? Where do you get the Artex? Or do you order directly from Artec? Yeah, you can get them on the cheap if you know where to look, but where do we look? That's the question. So if you guys have, if you have a source, and we would appreciate it if you could share with us. I'd love to try some of these out myself. Yeah, Lampu's right. Unfortunately, those inhaling exercises mostly only work well during the exercises. Drink more than average water and reduce salt intake, plus exercise for gradual lung expansion. Yeah, I agree that they work most while you're doing them, but I honestly feel the effect longer. And I think the key is to, I mean, this is basically a form of meditation. So I think the idea is to basically do it on a regular basis. So maybe not just one time a day. You know, when you're lying in bed, you can do it, but maybe like take some time for a quiet time and do it a couple of times when you feel the effects wearing off. And I honestly, it honestly puts you in a different state of mind. So you order from Allen Eden, and they have the Altec brand there. I'm gonna check that out, Seth. I'm gonna see if I can get a set from them. Maybe it's worthwhile checking out and doing a review on those. Yeah, Larry, there's natural cures. The thing is, I mean, uh, modern medicine is focusing mainly on the band-aid. You know, basically selling you something that you can use to mask the issue instead of trying to get to the root cause and resolve the issue. I mean, that's my biggest beef with modern medicine is like they're not really focusing on anything that's to cure. They're just basically giving you pills, selling you stuff, pushing drugs, you know, pharmaceuticals. Instead of, you go to a doctor and you have high blood pressure, instead of saying, here, take beta blockers, why don't they say, hey, drop 30 pounds, stop drinking alcohol and smoking, relieve your stress, and you'll see that the blood pressure will naturally come down. That's what they should be doing. But I think it's because most people in society won't do it. It's not easy, right? They don't want to change. They don't want to change what they're doing. They want to still, eat the burgers. They still want to have the high salt intake. They still want to, they're dealing with stress every day. They're, different things. They want their alcohol. So at the end of the day, it's not convenient, right? Gospel of Mark says, my stress has been bad due to the nature of my job, and I've had blood pressure issues as well, had to go on meds. Also do breathing that I learned from the therapist, take supplements too. Mark, you know what? I've had high blood pressure too in the past, and honestly, my blood pressure is back to normal. Uh, I've taken I've taken the I've taken I'm a little overweight. I'm actually working towards losing more weight. Uh, in the last little while, I've dropped probably, I'm gonna say, at least well, over ten pounds. I would say in the last month and a half, something like that. I'm working towards my goal, but I haven't. I've dealt with it other ways. I was prescribed pills, and I'm no longer taking those pills. I don't need them. And there's other ways to do it, man. It's really a question of what you're putting in your body. Being at the right weight is huge. You can easily drop probably 1 point of blood pressure. When you read your blood pressure for every pound that you drop. So if your blood pressure is up, over the range that you're supposed to be in by maybe 10 points, drop 10 pounds. You'll see it makes a huge difference. And not only that, it extends your life, man. You know. Anyways, I don't want to talk about. This is not a medical show. I'm sorry, it's turning into one today, but I care about you guys. I just want to be able to give you guys advice if I can, and definitely playing music is a one way of relieving stress. I love playing music with the guys because I feel it's a huge stress reliever. I have a stressful job, and It really does the trick. After a good jam session where we're going for 3 hours, I feel great. I feel like I got my workout. Fear increases stress. Absolutely. A lot of people are suffering from anxiety. That adds to stress. And sometimes worrying about your situation, worrying about your high blood pressure has a catch 22 effect where you're getting more stress, and your blood pressure is even higher. So I think a lot of things are like intertwined. Fat philosopher says, talking to my wife increases stress. Oh boy. Hopefully she's not watching today, fat philosopher, or else yeah, you're definitely gonna have more stress. So at the top of next week's show, Addicted to Gear asks, 1, what new gear have you bought? 2, what new things have you learned? 3, what exercises have you taken? And maybe 4, how much weight have you lost? How about that? We can turn this into a 12-step addiction therapy session slash, Weight Watcher show or something like that. What do you think? Or maybe we do it like this. For every 10 pounds you drop, you're allowed to buy a pedal or something like that. Or if you put on weight, you got to get rid of stuff. How's that? We can motivate each other that way. Paul says Art Tech will build to spec and send you a sample. Duncan giving them a spec and a US sample and they match it. Art Tech have a site built, have a site, but it's crap, very confusing with not good tech specs. I see. Sounds like a long, laborious process, Paul. Hmm. Jeff says weight loss and exercise had the best effect on my blood pressure. Yeah, absolutely, man. My MD, the person I've been going to see for the longest time, he's a real gem of a doctor because he rarely prescribes medication. This guy, he's more of a psychologist or psychiatrist than a doctor, really, because he's really, everything. Anytime you go to him expecting him to give you drugs, he talks you out of it, and it's amazing. Like at one point I was asking him whether or not I should be on cholesterol pills, and he's like, "Why would you want to do that?" He's like, statistically speaking, they don't help. And he explained it to me, and he's like, yeah, I could give them to you, but they're not going to make a difference in the long term because it's mostly genetics. And so he explained it to me, and I'm like, all of a sudden, I walked out of there saying, yeah, this guy's right. But he opened my eyes at one point where he said to me, and I'm going to share this with you before we wrap up, just to keep this in mind since we're talking about health and happiness. He said this to me, and it's 100% accurate. And he's like, if I can give you a pill, a magic pill today that would make your blood pressure go down, would make your aches and pains go away, would make your mood better, get you out of depression, just generally make you feel better, give you more energy. And he went on and on. He's like, would you take it? And I'm like, absolutely. Like, where is this pill? And he's like, it's exercise. And he hit the nail on the head. And he's like, he's absolutely right, man. Exercise does all of that and more. And the thing is, it's free, but we don't do it. We stick to our bad habits, and we get into a rut, and then we expect pills to fix it. So just keep that in mind, guys. Well, next time you're dealing with aches and pains, or you're feeling a little bit down in the dumps, things are hurting. It's exercise, dude. It's as simple as that. So, guys, I don't know if this week's session was what you expected, but I think we definitely got on a sidetrack here. But I think it's all a good thing. I mean, if it helps people healthy and it helps people stay healthy, I think it's all good. Um, The health and happiness show, we can call it. Paul says, Tony, unless you buy volume OEM on for your business, our tech are a waste of time. Just get the the guitar fetish stuff. Yeah, I guess. I guess other companies have already dealt with our tech, and you can buy through them for a little bit of a markup instead of going through the hassle. I agree. Cushman says, I picked up a, and he's keeping us in suspense. What did you pick up, Cushman? Hiding new gear I bought causes stress. Yeah, man, maybe you should come clean. Just sit the wife down and come clean and say, honey, I got to talk to you. Something I've been hiding from you over the years, and it's about time I come clean. And maybe she'll love you more, for being honest with her. um, Nice Telecaster. Yeah, thank you, Vox. This is again, I don't play this as nearly enough. I love this Telecaster. It's really great. The sound is too much drive. One good thing about sending that guitar back this week, my wife thinks I sold one. I didn't have the heart to put her straight. Ah. Is anyone else wondering if Fat Philosopher is really fat? Well, you gotta ask him. Honey, I just sold the guitar so I can buy a new one. Honestly, guys, my wife knows that this is not gonna stop. So I think she's just put her hands up in frustration and just saying, as long as he's not doing drugs, as long as he's not fooling around with other women, it's all good. Keep him busy with the guitars. There's worse things, I guess. Cushman picked up an Epiphone Elitist Les Paul Custom. Hey, congratulations, Cushman. How do you like it, buddy? Give us the rundown. What's the review on it? Enrico says he bought a Squier Classic Vibe 50s Telecaster. It showed up with a QC issue. Needed fret level nut was cut terribly, and had a small chip sent it back yesterday. Ah, man, and that was brand new, Rico? Or was that used? The fret needing a leveling doesn't surprise me. The nut was cut terribly. That I'm actually a little bit surprised, and had a small chip. Yeah, chip is hard to fix, so I would probably have sent that one back too. Yeah, Fat Philosopher says, Dick Man, go to my YouTube channel and get a good look at me. Yeah, he's got stuff out there, Dick Man. So definitely, you can take a look at Fat Philosopher in all his glory and watch his videos. The Gospel of Mark says, I'm very weird with gear. I have to sell stuff in order to justify buying gear. I agree. I kind of feel the same way, especially when it comes to pedals. I usually don't like to bring in another pedal unless I sell something. If I sell it, I feel good about it. And then I'm like, yeah, I deserve to buy something new because I made room. I decluttered. I love the double bound look too. I'm actually considering getting a double bound black one. A black Telecaster, and I wanted to do the black, like the stealth Telecaster, where I would do black on, black double bound, gold hardware, because gold I find looks really, really nice on a black. Do the black thing. The pick guard will probably be like a white or a cream or something. I like or maybe even just black. I don't know. But rosewood fretboard as well. I think that would look really, really sharp. The thing is, I got too many builds going on right now, so that one's gonna have to wait a while. But I might know where to source the body from already, so maybe I'll grab that while I have an opportunity, and that'll keep me going. Gospel of Mark says the wives need to realize we are all addicted to gear. That's why we're here. I think they. I think maybe we should have a wife day where we actually invite our wives in to see what we're talking about here and see whether or not they would actually feel like we're actually doing a good thing or we're all crazy. I'm not really sure. Hey Jeff, thanks for the super chat, buddy. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. And I'm glad you're smiling. I'm glad you're smiling, man. That's making me smile. Thank you, man. Rico says a brand new guitar from Guitar Center. The high E and G buzzed like a sitar. Bone nut was not cut well. That's usually the first sign. Yeah, when you're getting open strings that are buzzing, that sound like a sitar, it's usually from the nut side of things. Sometimes it could also be from the bridge, but it's rarely a little bit more rare to come from the bridge. Usually it's the nut. Mark says it would be a Black Beauty Telecaster, black with the gold hardware and double binding. Yeah, man, I've seen pictures of Telecasters like that. They looked fantastic. The only issue with a really flat black surface like a Telecaster, like you can already see this one if I put it in the lights. If I can try, there you go. Look at the fingerprints. You can see on the edge here the fingerprints. So could you imagine the black? It would be constantly full of fingerprints. Would cost me a fortune in guitar polish, but I think it would be pretty nice. It's awesome. Double bound trans red sounds great. Plays awesome. The trans red is nice too. I agree. Hey, thanks, Cool Tunes. Cool Tune says, Tony, this is definitely the best guitar live stream on YouTube, hands down. And also, you can get medical advice. Hey, I'm not responsible for the medical side of things. I have to say that, right? Anybody that stops taking their meds, you got to talk to your doctor first. Do I need to say that? But yeah, I agree. It's really a lot of fun to be here with you guys. Tony Rico says, Tony, have you played the Fender Ventera Telecasters? The 60s modified looks interesting. I've played it very, very briefly in the stores. I mean, they're good. They look great. I think they look great. They play very nicely, especially if they're set up properly out of the gate. My issue is the pricing. Like the pricing still seems a little high. And I don't know if this is something that you guys have heard, but I've heard that Fender, Thomann, and a few other companies have been accused of price fixing. This is mostly in Europe, but it's like, man, it's like how much more do they want to get out of us? The prices on these guitars are becoming really expensive, and it's like it used to be more affordable. Now it's really getting up there where it's getting difficult to buy like an American made anything. And I don't know, man. It's slowing me down. I mean, I'd probably buy more guitars and gear if the prices were more affordable. So I'm wondering if they're shooting themselves in the foot. They're trying to make more profits out of the gate, but at the same time, it's stopping people from buying more gear because they can't afford it, right? Catch 22. I don't know. I don't know. Gospel of Mark says, Tony, my wife listens while I'm watching, and she's always keeps an eye out for your dog. Well, hi to you, Mrs. Gospel of Mark. My dog's here. You probably heard her snoring. She's here. Look. Oh, can you see her? She's right. Well, you can only see part of her fur. She's got her ass to me right now, but she's right there. Let me see. Here. I'm in the way. Sorry, guys. But she's right there. You can only see her butt. But anyways, she's always here. You can hear her snoring all the time. Fat Philosopher says, invite wives? Bad idea, Tony. Sorry, Fat Philosopher. Sorry. I didn't mean to offend anyone here. Paul says, Tony, I've sold 106 pedals over about 6 months. So far, I've kept 72. Laughing out loud. Now it's a case of one in means one out. Yeah, man. I'm getting saturated with my guitars, as you can see here in the back. I'm running out of cases. I'm running out of stands. I'm running out of place. So I'm gonna have to start probably liquidating a few of my guitars and keeping the cream of the crop, so to speak. And it's funny because the ones that I tend to hang on to are the ones that I build now. It's almost like I like those better than ones I buy. So I don't know if that's a bad thing or a good thing. Bruce says, as I stated in the past, every time you buy a piece of gear, give the wife credit card and send her shopping. Works like a charm. That could become super expensive. You know the old joke about the guy who who got his wallet stolen and they stole his credit cards, right? At the end of the day, they found his credit cards and they wanted to return, the credit cards to him. And he's like, no, he's like, I don't want them back. And it's like, why? What do you mean? Why would you want the guy who stole your credit cards to hang on to your credit cards? And he's like, well, because he was spending less than my wife. So, you know, Seth says, all you all are really cool. I really appreciate being part of this crew. Email me at sethpresley@gmail.com for custom orders or guitar tech tips. Yeah, man, it's good to have. We appreciate you having our back, Seth. I know we can always count on you for advice, and of course, if anybody needs any guitars or guitar builds or plecking, then Seth is in the house. He's a good resource for all of us. Yeah, Rico, man, I freaked when I saw that. Last year, the EVH Frankies were 1,699. They're 1,999 now. It's quite a big difference, man. In 1 year, that's not cost of inflation. So Cushman says he got the Epi Elitist LP Custom Red from a friend, and it's awesome. So that's awesome, Cushman. Jeff says, I think my wife could do the credit card joke about me. Yeah, unfortunately, sometimes it does work both ways, doesn't it, Jeff? All right, guys. I think Larry says, I've noticed the guitars in my reverb watch list have gone up in price. I think it's still the COVID effect. I think people are still trying to get a lot for their gear. I've noticed that lately. Like the gear is not being, even used gear is going for more than it should. I don't know why. I think people taking advantage of shortages in the supply chain. People want stuff they don't necessarily want to put in an order and have to wait because things are slow coming in. So they're taking advantage of it. But I think that's going to pass, at least on the used market. Jeff wants to know where I sell my surplus gear. Jeff, I usually sell local. I don't sell on Reverb. I don't sell on eBay. I'll sell on Kijiji most of the time, and I usually deal in person as much as I can. Quicksilver wants to know, are Vox amps dark sounding? Not usually. They usually have a nice chimey sound to them. I wouldn't say that they're dark sounding. Yeah, that's the crazy thing. You're spending $2,000 on a Frankie and you're not even getting a case with it. Bruce says, actually, the wife makes a lot more money than I do, so it helps a lot. So she's your sugar mama. That's a good place to be. That's what I'm looking for. All right, guys. I think we can pretty much wrap it up. I think we've been going an hour and 40 minutes. I think we had a great chat today, and I appreciate you guys The discourse that we're having during the show is really lively and a lot of fun. So it really is something that I look forward to on a regular basis. For the guys, those guys that are joining us today, welcome to the group, and hopefully you guys will stay. You'll stay. You'll come back next Sunday. Yeah, cool tunes. Definitely. I decided on my Fender. I mentioned it at the beginning. You probably came in a little bit late, but I hung on to the Supersonic. The deluxe reverb is gonna go back. Like I said at the beginning, the deluxe does sound better recorded, but I found the Supersonic just to sound more punchy and lively in the room. And honestly, with a speaker change, a bias, maybe even changing the standard tubes that are in the Fenders, they usually ship with groove tubes, which are so-so. I think I can get the Supersonic to sound super, you know. So and the flexibility on it is really way more than what you can get with deluxe. So I think I made the right decision by hanging on to the Supersonic. I'm probably gonna try some different speakers in it. I have a couple of speaker cabinets here with some additional speakers. I'm gonna try a couple of different ones and see which ones sound best. Maybe I'll even do a speaker comparison within the Supersonic and post that for you guys and make you hear what that sounds like. Maybe you guys can give me some additional advice as to which ones you think sounds best. All right, guys, thank you so much. Gospel of Mark says, are you ever going to build a Telecaster with something other than a single coil in the neck? I actually had a road worn. I still have that guitar, by the way. If ever you see me playing my red road worn Telecaster, that one originally had a 59 Duncan 59 in the neck. And I swapped it out and I went back to the single coil. The reason for that, Mark, is that when I just find matching single coils to humbuckers a challenge. You have to compromise on the pot value. I know there's other ways you can do it nowadays, but I mean, I don't need a humbucker in the neck position of my Telecasters. I really like the spank that I get out of the Telecasters, and really it's a really flexible in-between guitar that really fits in so nicely between a Les Paul and a Strat that I'm happy with the single coils. So I'm probably not gonna do the Keith Richards thing, although I could, I could definitely swap back to the humbucker in the neck. Maybe eventually I might try that again, but for now I'm happy with what I have. Thanks, Wayne. Thank you for the compliment, buddy. Bruce says, why does this seem to be only males? Must be some female addicts out there somewhere. Yeah, but they're probably looking for a more handsome host, unfortunately. Somebody younger, maybe. Dan says the silver face deluxe is more versatile than the black face. Interesting, Dan. Why do you say it's more versatile? And maybe that could be the next video I do. Maybe I should put the black face deluxe up against the silver face and see what's up with that. Larry's going to get some Taco Bell and take a nap. The Quicksilver says, I know where there's a bunch of meth addicts if you want to meet one down by the main square in Prague. I don't think that's the kind of addicts that we want in the show, unfortunately, Quicksilver, but thanks for the offer. So the Telecaster you built has a Jazzmaster pickup in the neck. That's pretty cool. And how does that differ from, like, how does that work with the bridge pickup, the Jazzmaster in the neck? I'm curious. It's an interesting combo. Yeah, the Duncan quarter pounder is a good bridge. Yeah, because it's more like it's a fatter sounding pickup. So you have a full Telecaster pickup, actually a humbucker pickup in the neck and a fat Telecaster pickup in the bridge. You can also go with the rail pickups, right? The ones that are the two rails that are in the same sized pickups as the single coils, which are technically like a mini humbucker. Then you don't have to worry about like, if your guitar is now routed for humbucker, it still will work. Yeah, I'm glad it sounds pretty cool, man. That's an interesting combo. I wouldn't have thought about putting those two together. Fat Philosopher says women tend to pick one guitar and stick with it for some reason. Is that true? Yeah, possibly. I would have to validate that. I don't know. I don't have that many female guitar player friends, but it could be true. Rico's getting ready to paint his EVH Wolfgang. I might email with a question or two. Thanks in advance. My pleasure, Rico. If you have any questions, feel free, buddy. Tony should have a member of the a BTS to co-host. So Mark says the neck pickup sounds very round and stratty. That's not necessarily a bad thing, right? If you wanna mix it up a little bit. And Paul says the Silverface Deluxe is cleaner. It is the beyond perfect pedal platform. I'm gonna have to check that out for myself, Mark. I mean, Paul. Thank you for the heads up on that one. I was definitely digging the Princeton too. I was super surprised that the Princeton sounded so bassy and full. With a 10-inch speaker, I was expecting it to sound small and thin, but it was anything but great, and it took pedals really well too. I think I mean, for home use, the Princeton is great. Like honestly, the Supersonic for home use is actually too much amp. But if you're playing at home most of the time, the Princeton is a great compromise, I think. And the one I had was the Silverface Princeton, so that one probably sounds different than the blackface one as well. Yeah, please do, Mark. Post a picture or a video. I'd love to see that. Nina Strauss has stuck with the Ibanez for a long time. Orithani is always playing PRS. Yeah, but that doesn't really count because they have deals with these companies, right? So it's a whole different thing. When you have a deal like that, you're not supposed to play other guitars. So, but I'm sure they have other guitars in their collection. Rico says, Tony, great how to shield video. I had all the supplies ready for my new Classic Vibe Telecaster, but I sent it back. Well, let me know how it goes once you finally get to it. But I think the Classic Vibes, if I'm not mistaken, I think they have shielding paint in there. So I don't know if you're gonna have to actually do that. I did it on mine because it was a build from a stock wood body. It was raw. I painted that myself and everything. So the shielding paint was never applied. I don't even have shielding paint, so I go with shielding tape until I run out. Because now it's extremely expensive. I bought that roll of shielding tape like probably 10 years ago when it was much less expensive, but the price of copper has gone up. So if I need to shield more guitars, I'm probably going to go the paint route. Bruce says about 40 years ago, I was dating a female lead guitarist who fronted an all-female rock band. It was always like a gear competition between us. There you go. See, so Bruce can make it clear to everyone that women could be as bad as guys. I like the John 5 rig rundown also, Fat Philosopher. The guy's an amazing guitarist, by the way. Like, I'm not a big fan of the makeup thing, but he can play so many styles of music, and he's really a great guitarist. I'm a fan. I just don't like the makeup, but that's just me. My favorite guitarist, Brian May, the opposite of addicted to gear. Yeah, true. I mean, well, he had a lot of guitars, but they were a lot of similar guitars. But he did play other guitars beyond his Brian May model. He had I've seen him play Strats and Telecasters and different things over the years, acoustic guitars and all that. So I'm sure although he played his number one most of the time, um, all these guitarists have like hangers full of guitars. Rico says mine had no shielding at all. Really? That's surprising. No shielding? I'm surprised. In a classic vibe? You sure about that? That's odd. That's not usual. Cool Tunes Made Easy says I finally hit 100,000 views on my channel and I'm getting more inspired to keep playing and learning. Dude, don't give up, man. Keep it going. And if any of you haven't checked out Cool Tunes Made Easy, check out his channel. He's has some great videos out there as well. Support him, man. It takes a lot of time to do that, and you're putting out some nice content, dude. Keep it up. All right, guys. Rico, yeah, please send me the photo. I'd love to see it. Take a gut shot. Like I said, I'm really surprised that they're not shielded. Larry says I was looking at the import John 5. Is it any good for about 300 bucks? So I believe the import John 5 is the one with the humbuckers, right? If I'm not mistaken. 300 bucks doesn't seem out of line. Seems reasonable. Seth says, Tony, the shielding video is an awesome resource. Thanks, dude. Thank you very much. I'll throw up some other videos out there when I'm working on my guitars. And again, this is how I do it, guys. So I'm not saying this is the only way to do it. It's just how I like to do it. And sometimes, I might have some tips and that you haven't thought of and it could help you. And it's something I just want to throw out there in case you guys are wondering. I often get people asking me to throw some videos online about how to cut nuts, how to adjust guitars and whatnot. And since I'm working on the guitars anyway, why not? If you guys get something out of it, then great. Quicksilver says the new classic vibes are unshielded. I cracked open a 50s Telecaster from Indonesia as well. No paint shielding. That's really weird. All right. Well, I guess they're cutting corners. That doesn't make sense. Fat Philosopher just subscribed to Cool Tunes. Yeah, man. Go over to check out Cool Tunes Made Easy's channel and subscribe to him. Give him some love. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. I've been, again, I went over almost double what I wanted to. I try and aim for an hour, but unfortunately, or fortunately, because we get carried away, it goes a little bit longer, which is no biggie. But I think that's it for today. We're going to wrap it up. I appreciate you guys joining me on the channel as well. Please give me a thumbs up. It helps the algorithm for, YouTube. Help get the videos out there to more people, and hopefully slowly we'll get some more people on these live chats on Sunday mornings. Of course, I might eventually try and do some videos, some live chats, different time slots, but I'll try and keep the Sundays going as much as I can, so that we keep having the same people there and it becomes sort of a regular Sunday thing. So I really appreciate you guys supporting the channel. Thank you again for the super chats. Thank you again for the thumbs up. If you have any comments, please leave them in the comment section below. If you guys are rewatching the videos later on and you're going through all the blah blah we had here today, please remember to subscribe to the channel. The Sunday chats are very important, but of course, if the regular posts that I make don't get enough love, then obviously that doesn't help out the channel. So if you can watch some of the channel videos that I put out on a regular basis, that would be highly appreciated as well. It helps me continue doing what I love to do, and that's put out some content related to guitars and gear. So that's it, guys. Have a great Sunday. Have a stress-free week. Keep your blood pressure down, play guitar, and we'll be talking again next Sunday on Addicted to Gear. See you guys all then.